Just a quick video really, and this is to Chelsea and Kensington so-called council. I would call them economic terrorist mob, okay? And this is more evidence of their cold-hearted attitude. And what's happened is that therapists have been running a community centre that was used to provide art therapy for the children affected by the tragedy, because the children in this community all had friends who lived in that tower, okay? And they are all affected by grief. So therapists have been running the club for a week, but when they turned up on Tuesday, their keys no longer worked. They changed the locks without discussion or liaison, said Susan Rudnick, who coordinated therapy at the centre. She practices at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital and is a lecturer at Goldsmiths. Families waited outside in the rain as the organisers tried to reach Kensington and Chelsea Tenant Management Organisation, and therapists from other centres wanted to collect art supplies. A few hours later, after all the children had gone home, someone from KCTMO arrived with new keys but told therapists they would only have limited access. Rudnick said she was later told they could use the centre from 9 AM to 5 PM on Mondays and Tuesdays. This is little use for an after-school club. This is not what I asked for and not what we wanted, she said. Since then, they've said they're going to work with us, but we are yet to have our requests for timing and use of the hall confirmed. The centre is supporting children who lost friends and classmates in the blaze and who now study and play in the shadow of its ruins. You can see the tower block from the playground really clearly. They really need this, said Faye Murray, a mother of 5 and part of a group of local volunteers who have supported the centre logistically. It has proven popular with local children, with 15 to 20 attending each day it was open, and Rudnick has been coordinating with the NHS and other officials. We have been working alongside children's services to have it as an art therapy hub for affected children in the area, and we have referral services in place should we be worried about any of them, Rudnick said. So that is how mean-spirited these people are. Now remember, this is a council that regularly gives money to their contracted, privatised, corporate care providers, okay? £5,000 they spend per placement. That's how much they get for arranging a child placement. Now, a lot of these children that are being forcibly, against their wishes, removed from otherwise genuinely loving family homes that might be going through a divorce or having some difficulties, they're removing children on grounds of a future emotional risk, okay? They're removing children from parents. And the council supports that. The corporate council supports those corporate bodies that are causing actual emotional damage to children by removing them from their homes and putting them at risk in local authority care, because they are at risk, in order to protect them from a future emotional risk. Okay? Now, every single child who lives in this community and who lived in that tower block were at a future emotional risk by their own council, who had failed to adequately ensure the tenants were protected, who had turned the whole building into a candle at a cost of 8.5 million of public funds. The children, as a result, have been emotionally damaged and traumatised. The whole community, emotionally damaged and traumatised. Actual emotional damage and trauma caused by Kensington and Chelsea Council, who are quite happy to remove children permanently from their parents on grounds of a future emotional risk. And you think people should not be outraged by that? Are you going to get your corporate police force that your government's just decided not to give a pay rise to protect you all? You are all guilty of child abuse. Because if people in this country, families can have children removed from them on the grounds of a future emotional risk, but meanwhile it's alright for councils to put every child in the community, not just at emotional risk, but actual physical risk as well. And now they can't even provide them with a therapy centre. Well, you know, you people at Kensington and Chelsea Council, you are a set of wolves. You're a wolf pack, and it's about time you got in touch with your humanity. Because none of you are going to get away with this. People like me are not going to shut up until we see you facing criminal charges, okay? Especially when people like myself are work freely, voluntarily, to help people like a friend who lives in central London, who lost all her children. 6 children were taken off her on grounds of a future emotional risk. All of them traumatised, all of them damaged in care. One of them, the youngest, sexually abused in care. That's all on social work records. Doesn't count for nothing. The same as this. A council can put a whole community under trauma. How traumatic is it to stand and watch that? To watch people jumping out of windows? To lose your friends, not even know what's happened to them? A council that's how much council tax has this created for Kensington Council? And they can't even send, and they had no organisational strategy or plan in place in case there was a fire of this magnitude in any of their tenement blocks. Nothing. They had nothing. And it is absolutely outrageous. It is outrageous because these people are supposed to be professional people. That's apparently why they have such high social status and earn such a lot of money. Because apparently they're superior to us. They're more intelligent. But obviously they're not, are they? The only thing they've got any intelligence towards is lining their own pockets and the pockets of their corporate co-conspirators. Well, the game's up. Your game is up, okay? And this game is going to end. And this, we are not going to forget it. We're not going to let it drop. We will not rest until we see people facing criminal charges. Because that kind of ignorance is not negligence. Sorry. Gross negligence, sorry, go away. This is an outright criminal conspiracy, because nobody can be that stupid and expect to be sitting on a council. And you still haven't given us the full list. Oh, some of the families don't want to know. Really, don't they? Well, who has said that? What family? I would like to know which families have said we don't want any publicity. They've been, you know, I've just been on David Lammy's Twitter. You know, this is it. Survivors have to find everything out for themselves. Survivors of attempted suicide because they feel so isolated, alone and unsupported. Survivors have told us today that families are being offered accommodation outside of the borough of Kensington and Chelsea. Well, I'm very sorry, Kensington and Chelsea, you have got no right now to displace these people from their local community and further isolate them when they've already lost their friends and neighbours. And if those people have got children, that is actual further emotional abuse and damage and trauma to those children, to take them out of their community and force them to go to a new school after suffering this. What kind of monsters are you? Have any of you ever even spoken to a child therapist, a child psychologist? You are a set of fucking bastards, Kensington and Chelsea Council. And you need to stop being fucking bastards and start being human.